2016 to order, and if you would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I pledge allegiance to the flag of Michigan and to the state for which it stands, two beautiful peninsulas, united by a rigid steel, where equal opportunity and justice to all is our ideal. Could we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Shippers?
Here.
Coleman?
Here.
Wolfile?
Here.
Meinhardt?
Here.
Mayor Folker?
Here. And at this time, looking for an approval of the agenda. We don't have any updates to the agenda this evening.
Motion to approve the agenda is presented.
Support.
Sandy, could we have the roll call, please?
Councilmembers Coleman?
Yes.
Wolfile?
Yes.
Meinhardt?
Yes.
Shippers?
Yes.
Mayor Folker?
Yes. This time, we'll open the floor for public comment. We do ask that if you come forward, if you would just say your name and then write your name and your address for the clerk, it would be very much appreciated, and if you could keep your comments to 3 minutes.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jack Bond. I live 9826 East 13th Street, Cadillac, Michigan. My comment is, I'm co-manager with Tony Rubro with Lou Richardson's hot dog stand, and we haven't received any notification that it's been approved. It's been 75 days since I've talked to Marcus, and we missed summer stand, so we was wondering if we can get it approved for this spring so we could get in business again. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no one else, we'll close public comment and move on to the consent agenda and the approval of. We have the meeting minutes from our regular meeting on the 21st.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Support.
Sandy, could we have the roll call, please?
Councilmember Wolfile?
Yes.
Meinhardt?
Yes.
Shippers?
Yes.
Coleman?
Yes.
Mayor Folker?
Yes. The next thing on our agenda is communications.
Yes, it's being requested to approve the display of a banner from January 23rd to February 6, 2017, the as-needed closure of Lake Street between Harris and Cass, and the closure of the north and south parking lots of the plaza from February 1st, 2017 to February 5th, 2017. Also requested approval of a beverage tent from February 2nd to February 4th, 2017, and a brief closure of Linden Street at Chestnut on February 4th, 2017, all for the North American Snow Festival. And the exact times are in the packet on each of the application forms.
I did have a question. When I looked at where they're setting up the tents, they're putting it in the parking there on the plaza, and there's always such a concern about parking. I'm wondering why the tents are going there rather than down on Lake Street, perhaps?
That was a concern that we had as well. We did require the organizers to connect with all of the affected businesses that utilize that parking area to ensure that they were in favor of such a request before it rises to this level where it's in front of City Council for consideration. Joy Van Dree is representing the NASF in their application to the city, and she did go and have folks make that contact and get the positive feedback from those businesses saying that they agree and they understand the impact that it's going to have on that parking area. We looked at a variety of different ways of helping them with the logistics of setting up the event this year down in the city park area. The objective is to utilize a couple of rather large, probably the largest tents we've ever seen in downtown Cadillac in that area. Otherwise, there was going to be a series of smaller tents that would have otherwise have been on Lake Street and Harris Street, or Lake Street and Cass Street. There were a couple of different variations that we looked at. The Plan A, however, assuming that the thumbs up was given by those businesses, was to have essentially these two larger tents positioned in the lots to be able to take advantage of this whole sort of, you know, dare I use the word circus atmosphere, but, you know, recreational atmosphere between the activities taking place in the tents and the fireplace and the ice rink and everything else, and then keeping open the parking along the streets and in the general area. So,
Yeah, I really love the concept. I was just concerned about the business owners and taking that parking space. Yeah.
The other thing to mention is that all of the activities that otherwise has been located inside an event center, such as the WEX or the Cherry Grove Event Center as a recent, would be located within these tents. And so it's going to bring a sizable audience to the downtown area, whereas otherwise in this time of year that audience would not be there. I am not 100% certain where the races are going. I believe they're going to still be out in Boone and no longer on the lake due to concerns about weather conditions and ice conditions. But all of the indoor activities would be relocated to downtown Cadillac versus being out in the former event centers. Like the Army Reserve, the Army Reserve was another facility in the past years that's been utilized for those as well.
Well, and another big space that we would have down there is where the market is going to go. That's just a big open space too.
So,
Oh, that's where the snow's going to get piled? Okay.
Currently, that's going to be where we're going to temporarily be putting snow from the plaza lots.
Okay.
So,
That's a really good idea. And then you have a parking lot that's open.
Because if a lot of people are coming, where's everybody going to park that come?
they're, as I understand, working out those logistics. I believe they're going to have shuttling service with CWTA, but I couldn't tell you exactly. But I do know we did have a big meeting with them here in person with all the different department representatives, and agreed that it would be nice to have the people all within the proximity of where all the events, you know, where all the amenities are that we've built.
How many spaces are we losing there in parking, roughly, between those two lots?
80, I want to say.
Would it take up the parking that's right along the street too, the diagonal parking on either side of it?
No, it'll be
No,
there.
that's still open.
Okay, all right.
I have a question about so most traffic comes by car or by snowmobile
To the event by car. You know, to the indoor events.
under the tent events?
Yeah, under the tent events, likewise. You know, before it's here, if it was at the Cherry Grove Event Center or at the
We haven't changed any of our practices about allowing snowmobiles in the city park, have we? Or across those streets? Or up into
They
those
couldn't come any further than the
But
parking
you
lot.
could, but that's not what we're talking about tonight.
No. Thanks.
No.
I'm glad you asked those questions, Mayor. So we're pretty convinced that we've gotten the approval of the folks in that block of downtown.
We requested it in writing. We do have correspondence as such that Sandy received last week saying that they've gotten the approvals. And whether or not this is going to be a raving success, we don't know until we give it a shot. I can tell you that we did create these new places to be people gathering spaces. for people. And I know that it could create a headache when it comes to vehicles. I recognize that, but we have to learn and grow
Right.
as time goes on.
Well, I don't think any one of us disagree with the fact that, having it all right there is going to be really exciting, but I just wanted to make sure we're not blindsiding any of the businesses, and I'm glad to hear that they were all part of the conversation.
And actually, back in the past, several years ago, I recall when that parking lot there was utilized for NASF events. So half of it, or at least half of it, was not used for parking, and people did find areas to park, the parking lot here and on the other side of Mitchell Street and all that. So, yeah, I think it's a good plan.
All right, well, would someone like to make that motion then?
All right, I'll take a shot at it. Okay, I make a motion to approve the display of a banner from January 23rd to February 6th, 2017. The as-needed closure of Lake Street between Harris and Cass, and the closure of the north and south parking lots of the plaza from February 1st to February 5th, 2017. Approval of our beverage tent from February 2nd to February 4th, and the brief closure of Linden Street at Chestnut on February 4th for the North American Snow Festival. Support.
I just have to say, I can't approve this. I didn't read that it's going to be from February 2nd to February 4th, those parking lots. One day, on a weekend is one thing, but...
It does take a few days because the logistics are involved, and it's a multiple day event.
But the businesses that are there are okay with it. What about, I know this is, but, instead of closing Lake Street for the tent, what about closing Lake Street for parking? And create, I don't know what the logistics for that is. I'm just, this was one of those in my brain, like, maybe there could be parking there.
Then you're closing Lake Street to emergency vehicles for 4 days.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
True.
That's why I was thinking of the place where the market is
As
going
I
to be.
prefaced my comments, though, when I say our, I'm referring to our operations, our initial concern was the impact to the businesses in the area, and that we would not be presenting it tonight if we didn't get the thumbs up from those folks, and they said that they were okay with it. So,
It's going to bring a lot of people downtown.
Yeah, people downtown for sure.
But it's also an inconvenience for a lot of people. Because that's a big parking lot down there for, the movie theater or for whatever. And people don't know that they can't park there for 3 days. It's not just the staff, it's everybody. It's the whole community. It's people that don't participate in this event. I get it.
right. There's the DEQ lot is a public lot that is open for feeder traffic and other such vehicles.
And there's really good parking, to the north, but it would require really good signage, I think, to direct people to the good parking.
Are there people here from the event tonight? I think that if signage is something that would make us feel better about the community being okay with this, maybe we need to talk with them about that tonight.
Hi, Sam Porter, Director of the NASF, and this is Nick behind me, native Cadillac. He's on my team. We do award-winning festivals and events, and I've been doing them for about 20 years. So I can try to answer some of the wayfinding for a festival that might support signage and communications. It's something we can definitely look into. It's almost a good investment from a community standpoint or from maybe go back to Joy and team to build those for consistent events instead of a one-off. Once you develop, I think, a smart traffic plan for your event, it's kind of like the Roman Catholic Church in Rome. 100,000 people go there every week, but there's not a parking lot for miles. It's really about creating the conducive communications and really talking with the businesses which we have, and the bowling alley and obviously the the theater were the two major concerns because they have impacts that kind of come and ebb and flow. The bowling alley was really excited. We ended up collaborating with them to drive more business and create events throughout the evening in their space. We had 100% support from the businesses that everyone went to. A couple had a little bit of hesitation, but it's also new. You know, we're trying to create a huge amount of volume to come to the downtown businesses to really also activate the placemaking spaces of the commons and really highlight what everybody's invested into in this community. And I think it's wonderful. So I think signage would be a good idea. It's just sometimes we work by building things that are actual billboards that we use over and over again, and come up with a plan for how we direct that. We could probably do 4 or 5 or 6, and we have some of those signs, and we can build those quite affordably. They're only about the political signs, you can just build those for about $3 or $4 a piece. They'll last for a couple of events, but it maybe just comes down to Marcus and the team helping us identify where to put what sign and what to say, and direct people in that traffic. With the bus support, it'll be a...
Sam, I do like the thought of not creating that for just this event, but creating it for, the events that happen during the summer months. So perhaps if we create that with the help of the city staff, we create a normal for when we're having an event like this in Cadillac. One of the visions that we had for the plaza was to make it a gathering place for people. So it would be nice to be able to turn that into a festival area. But I agree with Sherry about the fact that people need to know, and if we create that normal of, okay, there's a festival, this is where we can go, then perhaps that would address that.
I didn't even read this right. I'm reading it again, and it's actually, the parking lots are closed from the 1st through the 5th. That's a long time. It's not,
Yeah, that just gave us a little bit of breathing room. We can probably get it all done on the 2nd. I'm just going to finish the operations for the tent setups, which are going to be ballasted at this point. I'm also doing the research for the city to understand tie-downs. We do that for a couple of our clients. Just to give you my budget, which is wholesale on our tent companies and systems, I'd really love to see you guys make the smart investments so that when you flip that switch to use this space, it's been designed to be used the right way from day one. And ballast and that is all doable. I use Fox Motors trucks to tie down tents. But in this situation, yes, Thursday's kind of more the community night. That's when they do the chili cook-off. We expect around 800 to 1,000. Wednesday's the full setup day. I think, did we put in there from Tuesday on?
I believe so.
There's a chance we won't need Tuesday. We just like to give a little bit of buffer room until we figure out that we're going to make it, we do it in Traverse City through the night. I would like to not do that. We do the Microbrew Music Festival up there the weekend prior and set up probably 3 times more tents than this, and it takes us all through the night about 12, 15 hours, but it's really hard to make the team work straight through the night. Is there an impact study or a parking grid that we can utilize in communications on social and website?
We do have a parking grid that shows where all our lots are. Yeah.
We'll push that pretty hard. And if there's anyone that has a concern, obviously they can go direct with us. During the event, we'll have staff and volunteers.
The 1st is Wednesday, by the way.
Oh, it is? Okay. So we'll be fine.
1st is Wednesday and the 5th is Sunday.
So when you say we'll be fine with just Thursday and Friday, or you...
No, we definitely would want Wednesday for the capacity of these tents, and the production's pretty intimate. I mean, we're building the stages with Moose's vintage snowmobiles on the wings. I mean, we want it to be as much art as it is just a tent.
If I can throw a comment out regarding the signage, I don't want council to lose track of the difference between permanent wayfinding signage, which wouldn't be appropriate for us to expect NASF or the Visitors Bureau to necessarily fund. I think if they could provide the what I'd call the temporary signage, identifying where the parking lots are, those could perhaps be used for other events, and that would be helpful. Sam, if that makes sense?
Yeah, and
I wasn't talking about permanent. I was just saying, if we have a festival, can we kind of make it always look the same?
Right.
So people just begin to know what it looks like moving forward.
It does take time to educate a community on how to use space, as we all know, and we'll do our best to work with you guys, and we'll only get better. As I tell my interns, we fail, but we fail forward, and they laugh. And No, but I think this is a really special event. We're really trying to incorporate the wider community. We had a great presentation from the YAC and the Youth Rotary Board, and all 30 students gave a thumbs up to a couple of really unique programs. We're doing things that Cadillac's never, really any Winterfest in the States, they've never had this. We're doing drone aerial art pieces with the logo with hundreds of people to wear different colors, so they lay out in a lake, and from 200 feet up we take a photo, and then we use that for telling the story of Cadillac. We have silent discos for Teen Tent, and also David Bowie, Prince tributes. We have a lot of very unique things that really haven't been done, and so far it's going really well. We're going to have one of the largest vintage sled shows in the state, and that's exciting. And these are all people that live in Cadillac. And when I came to the first committee meeting, just to share a story, they were pretty drained. It was a tough event. It slowly has gone down. I think when you spread it outside of the city, you lose that city core, and it's just not sustainable. And after I presented, everyone started dancing again, and I think that this committee is really jazzed. We're bringing a lot of new volunteers, a lot of committee members that are excited to live here, and that's what I love to do. So if you guys have any questions, I'm here right now. I'd love to answer them, but we're really looking forward to it.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
I'd just like to say that to thanks for bringing your expertise here. I know I've clearly been to many of your things.
I know.
And
I saw your name. I was like, I remember.
I know her, yeah. But it's nice to have your expertise here.
I appreciate that. I did when I first started. They really didn't have a lot of systems, documents, budgets, revenue-generating programs to help make it sustainable. So this year is a big year to invest in it once and not have to reach out again to the community, and so the businesses and Rotaries and others can participate in other programs. So this is a big seed year. We're taking it from a really struggling point to a nationally recognized, or at least statewide recognized, winter festival, and we're going to give it a shot. So thanks for your support.
Well, Marcus, I have a question. The DEQ lot, unless I'm mistaken, in the festivals we've had in the past, I don't think I've ever really seen that parking lot full. Eric, can you answer that? Because I think a lot of people don't park there because they're not aware that that's public parking, especially since it's gated. I've never seen that one full. The parking lot over there on the east side of Cass and Mitchell, the old Prevost Market, and then even that parking lot just to the east of that, during these festivals, those typically, I've never seen those full either. If just utilizing those two lots and getting the proper signage to direct people there, they'd have a couple extra blocks to walk, but that would take up those 80 spaces right there easily. So.
Just on the west side as well, west of Ambets is a large public parking area, and then where we're at, it's just a block to the
right. Yeah. This one normally fills up, but those other two I was talking about, I've never seen them full, and they're only another block away.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I think a really good communication plan is going to be needed here. Because it's not just a one-day event. It's not just a Saturday where people understand that, and I'm going to have to go park over here today. And this is what, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and probably take down on Monday. It's a long time to use the main parking lot for downtown for something else.
Is takedown on Monday or Sunday?
Right now it's planned for Sunday.
Yeah. I'm doing it out for Sunday. Yeah. Okay, we had a motion and a support. Do we have a roll call, Sandy?
Member Meinhardt?
Yes.
Shippers?
Yes.
Coleman?
Yes.
Wolfile?
Yes.
Mayor Filkins?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mayor.
I think it's definitely worth monitoring this year.
It's going to be new and scary for all of us.
And hearing feedback from people.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the City Council. Under the City Manager's Report, there's one item this evening titled Public Safety/First Responder Tribute Concept. Generally speaking, I'm going to turn this over to Mayor Filkins to describe in a little greater detail. Over the last week, there's been some discussion about a way in which we can try to honor those first responders, both in law enforcement and in the fire service, and just generally speaking, our emergency responders in our community. And there's been a couple of interesting concepts that are out there, and Mayor Filkins, why don't you toss out
All right.
the latest.
Well, I just wanted to share with you all, if you didn't see, there was a story about a city, I believe out in New Jersey, who painted a thin blue line down the middle of their main street in support of their police, fire, and first responders. And so I had some conversation with Marcus, and we brought in Rick Liptak to talk about the possibility of doing something like that in Cadillac. And we can't do that down the main street in Cadillac because it's a state trunk lot, right? So that didn't really deter us. We had some more conversation with the city staff, and what we figured out is that we can paint a thin blue line down Lake Street from the library down around Chestnut Street to past the stadium. But after some discussion, thinking that it would probably be best to do that in the spring, perhaps for the weekend of the Memorial Day parade. We could get it laid down and then it'll be there for the parade. But I think that we've had such a wonderful year in Cadillac that my mind was just going that I would really like for us to do something to show that support for our first responders, our policemen, our sheriff's department, our state police, our firemen, both in the city and out in the townships, and then also all of our EMS responders. And so, I started just kind of going in a lot of different directions, but the thing that I came back to Marcus and the staff with was, what if we turned all of the lamppost lights in a 3-city block on Main Street, from Cass Street to Pine Street, what if we turned them all blue? And so they kind of gave a high sign that we could do that. It wasn't something that the MDOT wouldn't let us do. It would come at an expense. We would have to raise the money to buy the LED lights. And so I had some more discussion out in the community, and we have the commitment to purchase all of these 31 bulbs that we will need to make this happen. And so I'm kind of excited about that. The other thing that I thought we could do is to purchase some yard signs, not unlike a political sign, but it would be the flag with the thin blue line through it, that people in the community or out in the outlying areas could come to the city and purchase for $5 and put in their yards as a show of support for our first responders. And then finally, another thought was to have encourage people to turn one of their outside lights blue at their home, before Christmas. I did reach out to Rich Langton, who is the president of the Workplace Chaplain Program, and he actually is here at the city with our departments, and he has agreed to help put together a ceremony that I would like to do on the 19th of December before our next council meeting. That hasn't all come together yet, but I wanted to keep moving forward, but I wanted to reach out to all of you to see if you would support that effort for our entire community. And it gives us an opportunity to bring together the people from the city, the townships, the county, who are out there every day supporting us and taking care of our families. And I'd like to invite all of them and their families to a ceremony that would happen probably at North Mitchell Street and Harris Street. And then perhaps afterwards invite everybody down to our fire station for hot chocolate and coffee. So everybody can just have some fellowship and chat with one another. And if you guys have any other ideas too, I would love to hear them. So you're talking blue lights from Cass Street, down by Remax, down to Pine Street. So it's 3 city blocks right downtown. How would that affect, lighting, safety, walking down the streets and stuff? Does it impact that at all?
The consumer's lights won't be touched.
Okay, those are the ones on
These are just what I refer to as the ornamental lighting. It's the black lighting. The color of the lighting, given that they'll be blue, will certainly be different than the amber color that's there now. We also need to realize that the shielding of the globes have been weather worn, and so while we'll be providing bright blue lighting, they may have more of a greenish hue to them, but
I'm hoping for blue.
we're hoping that
We're hoping for blue. Let's try one.
as blue as
I've got the green-blue line.
as blue as we can make them. You know, over time, we'll need to replace those globes, but it's quite an expense to do that right now. And so the thought would be to, as Mayor Filkins described, to have those temporarily switched out to blue. And did you state the date? I don't recall.
Yes, December 19th. It would be at 5 o'clock before our next council meeting. And during the ceremony, Rich and I talked about, doing a dedication to each, to the police, to the fire, and to the EMS. And, I can share between now and then what that actual program looks like. I just wanted to make sure you all were supportive of it, so we could do that.
Well, being a former law enforcement officer, I'd like to thank you for your thought on that. It's rather touching, actually. I know when you're in public service, there's a lot of gratification for doing that job, but you don't always get a lot of thanks for it because of the nature of the business. But I appreciate your thought on that, I really do. I know 4 years ago we put up that public safety memorial for police, fire, and EMS that lost their life while in service, not necessarily in the line of duty, but while serving their communities, and that was a nice thing, and the community really appreciated and accepted that, and I think now being able to honor the members that are still in public safety, that are still providing that service is fabulous. So.
And I think it would be nice too, and not to interrupt you, but I think it would be nice to invite the retirees also.
Oh, absolutely.
As a whole community thing. Yeah.
So thank you for that.
You're welcome. And I don't know if you are all familiar with the flag, but there's one that hangs in our police department already. And just this week, Marcus put one up out front of the city building, so that's what it looks like. So, and there has been some discussion about, fire versus police and having the red line and for the firemen, and I did some research over the weekend, and truly the thin blue line represents all of the first responders, and so that's how I would like us to look at it, because otherwise we're going to get into, having a red line and a blue line and a white line, and so I think that if we just stick with the blue line and do a good job of recognizing all of them, I just want them to know we realize what they give every day here in the community.
Okay.
So that's what that is. Any thoughts?
No? It'll be interesting to see what it looks like.
Yes.
I just, it's an opportunity for some really strong fellowship and bringing people together before the holidays. And so
Yeah, I like that. And I certainly love the idea of recognizing that group. It's a great thing for our community to do that.
Right, and there's a lot of crazy out in the world right now, and there's a lot of good in this community. And so,
You said that Rich Langton was going to help make the notifications, because I know when we did the public safety memorial, it was quite an undertaking to actually get to all the people you needed to get to, and it took some time. So.
Yes, well, what he said that he would help with, I asked him if he would please just take on the, putting the ceremony together. I'm probably going to write a proclamation, but outside of that, he's going to take care of, talking with the firemen and talking with the police and talking with the EMS to find out, what's important to them for people to realize, or, so that he's speaking to them. So he's going to take care of that. And then once, tonight happened and I got your support, I was going to work with Marcus, and we'll figure out how that communication, and probably it will come from me, out to all of the agencies and into the townships, into the county, to invite them to join us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you for your help.
Yes, it'll be a busy couple of weeks, but we'll do everything we can
I appreciate that.
to get it together.
Not that you didn't have anything on your plate already.
Okay, Mayor,
All right.
members of the City Council. The next two items are somewhat similar. We're looking at setting a public hearing for both. The first one is with respect to the adoption of a resolution that introduces an ordinance amending our zoning ordinance to add a homeless shelter overlay zone and to set a public hearing for December 19th, 2016. The Planning Commission unanimously is making this recommendation to the City Council to establish this overlay zone that you'll see is up on the screens just for reference. The City Council at this point in time is only being asked to set a public hearing. At that public hearing, John Wallace can then do a deeper dive into the Planning Commission's recommendations. And then the council at that point in time can determine whether or not to continue to move forward. But we're in the process of setting the hearing, so.
Take a motion? I'll make a motion to adopt a resolution to introduce ordinance amending the zoning ordinance to add homeless shelter overlay zone and set a public hearing for December 19th, 2016.
Support.
Sandy, could we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Shippers,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Wolfile,
Yes.
Reinhardt,
Yes.
Mayor Schultz.
Yes.
In a similar fashion, the next item, item B, is with respect to adopting a resolution to introduce an ordinance amending the zoning ordinance regarding crematoriums and the setting of a public hearing for December 19th, 2016. Additionally, the city's Planning Commission unanimously made a recommendation regarding an amendment to the city's zoning ordinance that would establish the space for crematoriums to be established in the city's I-1 and I-2 industrial areas. John, can you use the pointer or Sandy to identify on the zoning map where the I-1 and I-2 areas are? Otherwise, it's a little difficult to see.
Well, I could just point it out here.
Point it out.
Essentially, the I-1 and I-2 are the two shades of purple that are in this area of the city. So most of it is all the northwest quadrant of the city.
Thank you. So again, the City Council's role this evening is setting the public hearing for the next meeting, in which we'll then get a briefing by John as to the Planning Commission's recommendations, in which you'll then have the opportunity to obviously take public testimony and then to determine how you wish to proceed.
Okay, I'll make a motion to adopt the resolution to introduce ordinance amending the zoning ordinance regarding crematoriums and set a public hearing for December 19th of 2016.
Support. Sandy, could we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Bowman,
Yes.
Wolfile,
Yes.
Reinhardt,
Yes.
Shippers,
Yes.
Mayor Schultz.
Yes. Okay, this evening we do have the minutes from the zoning board, the zoning board of appeals that we can review a little later. That takes us to the second public comment. We do ask if you come forward that you say your name, and then if you would please write your name and address for the clerk and limit your time to 3 minutes.
Terry Harvey, Cadillac, Michigan. Should have been in last month, but your meetings are too early. Couldn't make it here in time. On that particular day, I had talked to Officer Collins. I can't remember his first name. It's the first time I've ever met him. I've heard good things about him in the past, but I brought something to his attention that had been a safety problem for a couple of years. And he went and took a look at it, came back and contacted me and told me it would be taken care of that day. if not that day, he'd contact the department head in charge and it'll be taken care of. The next day I was by later that afternoon, it was completely taken care of. May not have been a big deal, but it was something that could have caused serious injury to pedestrian or driver, and might have been not something that he'd get any acknowledgement for, or not thinking there's more important things to do, but after looking at it, he apparently had it taken care of within a few hours. I'd like to thank him, and City Council should thank him for doing his job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, seeing no one else, we'll close public comment. Does anybody have anything for good of the order this evening?
I do. I just want to say last month I went to a Networks Northwest Housing Summit in Traverse City. Myself, a couple other members of staff, and Marcus Petcher, our city manager. And during that conference that day, there were a couple community leaders that were recognized, and I thought this was worth mentioning because one of them was our city manager. It was called the Community Cornerstone Award for Housing Leadership, and basically they award that to someone who has engaged in housing solutions and successful housing initiatives that recognizes community leaders that have worked to engage the community in addressing critical housing issues in a collaborative, proactive fashion. So there's only two that got that award, and Manager Petcher was one of them, so I thought I should mention that congratulate him when you get a chance, because that was quite a nice award to receive at that conference, and that included communities from all over northwestern Michigan.
Wonderful. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
I just wanted to mention to the City Council, to the public, our synthetic ice rink came in today. We are going to work on getting it installed as soon as possible, and along with that installation, scheduling a ribbon cutting for that new special place at the plaza. So keep your eyes and ears open, and as soon as we have it ready, we'll let everybody know.
Okay, thank you. Okay, seeing no one else, we'll go ahead and adjourn the meeting. Thank you.